Hello, everyone. My name is Kunal, and I am a Vice President of Product Management for Attack Surface Management, Web App and API Security product line here at Qualys. Thank you, Max, for introducing me to the audience. I am reporting live from Qualys' headquarters in Foster City. Fourth floor here is our reception and the nice office in Foster City. Today, I'm going to talk about the three things. One, the challenges that the organizations are facing when it comes to managing the modern attack surface. Second, I want to talk about how is the Qualys' approach to solve some of the challenges that our customers are facing, including Mike from Vertiv, who you attended this session just before my session, and how customers like him are using our solutions to manage the modern attack surface. And in the end, I want to show you the quick demo, and also I have a free external attack surface management report offering for you guys as well, so that you can see what's out there on the internet for you, right? So today, as we have been talking to many organizations worldwide of a different size, what we have been hearing is the one thing that is very common, which is there is a significant push in the organizations to embrace the risk-based approach to the various cybersecurity program, be it a vulnerability management program or threat detection program or a compliance and the configuration management program. There is the push to have a risk-based approach. Now, as you may have noted this, and you may be going through yourself, that the all of this begins with a one key foundational thing, which is building your unified attack surface or unified inventory, finding out all of your assets, be it internal assets that you already know about it, or external internet facing assets that potentially you may not be knowing, right? So in order for organizations to effectively implement the vulnerability management program, they need to know all of their assets, including internet facing, right? In order to do the threat detection and remediation, you need to find out all of the assets. So the journey begins with the foundational step, that is finding out all of your assets, building the unified attack surface. Now, on the other hand, as you just heard Mike, my good friend Mike from Vertiv, and he has been working in industry for a long time, and this CISO community is sort of working towards reducing the cyber risk, the business risk that organization is facing by embracing the maturity model. And the key thing here is that the maturity model, the foundational step here is the asset inventory. Finding out all of your assets, finding out internal, external, cloud, on prem, IoT, OT, ICS, all the assets in one place, right? Including bringing in the visibility from a CMDB sync, right? So this is where again the foundational step here when CISOs are implementing a model to reduce the cyber risk is the key thing begins with discovering and monitoring the attack surface on an ongoing basis, right? Now, while they are trying to implement this maturity model and trying to bring in the unified asset inventory, but then they are getting constantly challenged with the ever evolving attack surface. And the reason is over the last few years, many organizations during the COVID and the after the COVID, they have gone through the accelerated digital transformation journey where they have started embracing the cloud, multi-cloud, shift and lift and shift workload to the cloud. Many organizations today have embraced the new cloud services to enable the productivity for their employees, right? In fact, many verticals like manufacturing, healthcare, and they are embracing the many IoT, OT, and the modern devices. And many of that are getting exposed to the internet to deliver the services to their end users, right? Now, what does this mean? As organizations are going through this digital transformation, there are two things here which are quite interesting. One, organizations' digital footprint is significantly increasing, right, as they go through this journey. And second, as their digital footprint is increased, the unknown exposure that is coming out of this digital footprint in terms of the configuration issues or blind spots, as you may call it. Now, this gives an unfair advantage to the attacker, right? Because they can see what is out there on the internet and they can use that as a launch pad to enter your organization. This is where CISOs and the team are getting challenged, right? Now, in the morning today, you attended a session with the an enterprise strategy group analyst, John, right? And he was talking about his research study with the various organizations where many organizations today have a more than a 30% assets as unknown assets. In fact, as a part of my product, our internal data suggests that the many organizations have a 32 to 35% of the assets which they didn't know until we discover, right? Now that's a huge unknown, and that means they are not scanning those assets into their VM program, but your attacker knows it because they are on the internet, right? Now, as the study says that only the 9% of the organizations are actively monitoring their attack surface. Here is the thing, right? The traditional approach of doing the pen testing once in a 6 month is not going to scale with the growth with that you have with the digital transformation, right? Now many organizations, like 43% of the organization, they spend more than like 80 hours in discovering the assets that are your own assets perhaps, right? And around 70% of the organizations have experienced an attack that was originated with this unknown assets that you didn't know that existed in your organization, which is very interesting finding here, right? So now, just to quickly summarize the landscape and the challenge, right? And as you can clearly see that the landscape have changed, and the primary business driver is a digital transformation, right? Where when you are embracing the multi-cloud and embracing the remote cloud services for your employees, and then you are adopting the more tools, that means more silos, right? Now what does that mean? That means that when you do the merger and acquisitions, or when you have a new subsidiaries in a new country now, and those subsidiaries and those merger and acquisitions have their own set of footprint on the internet, right? Now everything is on the internet these days, right? Now this gives attacker an unfair advantage, and this creates a blind spot in monitoring effectively your attack surface management program, right? Now as you have an increased footprint, what does that mean? That means those assets may have some vulnerabilities issues, right? They may have vulnerabilities that are exposed on the internet, right? Now the traditional approach to solve this problem was a manual pen tester, right? And you just find out what is there on the internet once in a 6 month or just before the audit comes in. But now with the explosive growth that we are seeing with a digital transformation, that's not going to work. And now remember, the same assets which are exposed to the internet, they will have end of life, end of service software. They will have a misconfiguration. They may have RDP port open, right? Or they may have some vulnerability that is remotely exploitable. So this brings in a significant challenge with the traditional way of managing the attack surface management program. Now, with that said, let me introduce you to the Qualys' approach to monitor and reduce your entire attack surface, right? When it comes to attack surface, we at Qualys firmly believe that you need to monitor your entire attack surface, be it internal known assets or external unknown internet facing assets, including the third party non Qualys environment into the one place. It is not going to work out to have a separate silo tool just for the external attack surface, and you have a different set of tools and processes for your internal assets. With that vision in mind, we had introduced a product called cybersecurity asset management a few years back. The whole idea was that let's give organization a visibility into entire inventory, be it internal, external, cloud, multi-cloud, OT, and then do the risk assessment and then find out whether there are any risky software running on it, right? Is there any configuration issues, right? And then we added external attack surface management last year to just focus on your digital footprint, right? Now, key thing here I wanted to highlight this. Our vision is to help vulnerability management team in simplifying and improving their VM programs with the visibility into entire attack surface. Today, many organizations are not scanning the internet facing assets because they don't know what exists there, right? So our goal is not to give you yet another tool. The goal is to empower, turbocharge your VM program, AppSec program, patch management program by bringing in the unified attack surface with the cyber risk context into those programs, right? Now let's quickly deep dive into each of these, right? The first one is all about building your inside out perspective. This sort of, we call it as a defender's view, because that's what your team is aware of. That's what you are fixing it, right? So how do we build this asset discovery? With our own scanner, with our cloud connector, our agent. We have our passive network sensors that you can deploy in your environment so that it can find the internal row devices. We do have a bi-directional sync with the ServiceNow and the BMC Helix CMDB. So now let's say, for example, some assets which are not seen by a Qualys agent and scanner, but you still have it in your CMDB, we can get that and you can bring it into your Qualys VM program. In fact, we have a many organizations which are starting up a new CMDB project. They jumpstart their CMDB 0 to 60 mile with the inventory that they take from our Qualys, and then they put it on the CMDB, and that's how they jumpstart, right? Also, we get the business context from the CMDB about who owns this asset, which business applications, and all of that, right? Now, as I said, when it comes to monitoring the attack surface, the siloed approach is not going to work. We understand that you still have some assets where Qualys agent and scanner may not have visibility. So we do have a third-party integrations where with the API, we can get data from your Active Directory, your Zscaler, your CrowdStrike, VMware, SCCM connector. Right now, once you have all of this, we do the cyber risk assessment. We find out if there is any end of life, end of service running on those critical as agent. Is there any zero trust gateway missing? Is there an antivirus agent missing? Oh, by the way, is there a Chrome browser running on a database server which is unauthorized to run on database server, right? So we find all of those risk, and now combining together with the business context, this takes your risk-based prioritization program to the next level. Now you can say, here are the 5 business critical application, here are the 5 finance department asset, here is the finance business unit asset, and here is the risk because they have a end of life, end of service, they don't have a required antivirus. Now we need to prioritize the vulnerability there first, right? Now, additionally, the external attack surface management that we launched last year, now that brings in attackers view outside in perspective, where we are finding out the previously unknown internet facing assets, where you simply put your top level domain and we iterate and we enumerate and we find out all of your top level domain, subdomain, subsidiaries domain, subdomain, merger and acquisition entities, your third party vendors that you have, and we identify all of the security gaps like vulnerabilities, open ports, certificate issues, application stack, end of life, end of service. And by the way, you don't need to babysit this. You could simply write a rule, say that any new assets that come in this IP range or a block, you want to get notified, right? Now, many of the customers that we have been working with, they have been using some siloed external attack surface management tool, or they are using Shodan to get this internet facing asset, right? The key thing is discovery is one part, but once you discover, how would you bring those into your VM program? How do you bring your web server that is exposed to the internet, web application that is exposed to the internet, into the web app scanning program? This is where, with our one click integration, now entire attack surface you can discover, not only for your organization but M&A, subsidiaries, everything, and then you can operationalize those things into the VM program, right? So bringing it together, quick summary: the attack surface includes both monitoring the outside in attacker's view, finding out your digital footprint, internet facing footprint, and bringing those into your vulnerability management program, web app scanning program, patch program. And on the other hand, the defender view is all about building the inventory, finding out the compliance issues, the risk issues, and do and implement the workflows to remediate that risk, right? Now, like I said, when it comes to the risk based prioritization, attack surface monitoring, it's not about looking into the siloed tool. We have an option for you to bring in a non Qualys environment where Qualys agent and the scanner have no visibility. You could still bring in those third party assets into our attack surface monitoring. So now you can do the holistic attack surface monitoring and reduce your risk. And we have a connector such as the ServiceNow CMDB, BMC Helix, Active Directory, VMware, CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Splunk. So now with that, you are getting your internal known, external unknown, plus third party via API, everything in a one place, the entire attack surface, and you can elevate whole together a risk based program to the next level, right? So as a quick summary, our attack surface solution helps you finding out your known, unknown, cloud, on prem, internet facing third party assets. Then we do the bidirectional sync with your CMDBs, where we can take a snapshot of inventory and share it with your CMDB, or vice versa. We also share all the cyber risk context of the end of life, end of service, unauthorized software with your CMDB. So the IT team can plan the budget to upgrade the software. IT team can plan the budget to deploy the missing agents, right? And we also get the business context, like who owns this asset, which department owns it. Now that takes your attack surface management program with the risk lenses all the way to the new level, where now you can say that I want to prioritize and remediate the risk for a 5 critical business application, and here are the 20 assets, right? Now, one thing I want to highlight, many of our customers have built their custom or homegrown data lake or their own SOC tool. So everything that I'm showing you here today, you could take that out, and with API, with a built-in API, with a built-in connector, you can take all of this correlated data, including the external attack surface data, including the end of life, end of service, and all the correlated data with the risk score. You can take it and putting into your data lake, where you have implemented even across organizations some use cases, right? And by the way, those of you who are using our vulnerability management, patch management, our web app scanning, and all of that, your ROI in a Qualys is going to even further increase with all the automations that we are providing. So it's going to help you monitor, discover the entire attack surface in a one place, and remediate the risk as well, right? So this is certainly helping many modern CISOs in solving some of their challenges, right? As we understand from the customer, today, customers are using many siloed tools, one just for the external attack, one for the on-prem inventory, one for the cloud inventory, one for the OT, IoT, right? What is the result of this? Your resources now have to spend time on this mundane task of stitching together the data across this siloed tool to derive and drive some risk-based prioritizations, right? This is where it creates more challenges and more manual laborious effort, right? But with us, everything that I just told you, external attack surface, internal attack surface, cloud, OT, IoT, vulnerability management, everything in a one platform with a one SKU that we are offering on top of the VMDR product that you have already bought. So it helps you reduce the total cost of ownership. It is helping you with your siloed point product into the one, right? So just quickly summarizing and then walking you through the quick demo and the free attack surface report offer for you. So again, I wanted to reinforce this. When it comes to monitoring the attack surface, it's about getting the visibility and attacker and defender view both inside out, outside in perspective, so that you know exactly which internal asset is exposed on the internet. So when you see something on the internet, maybe it's internal assets that with a virtual IP you have exposed on the internet, right? So you need that entire visibility. And like I said, guys, look, this is purpose built solution for the vulnerability management team in helping them monitoring or managing their attack surface proactively, right? This is going to help the SOC team, the XDR team, the SIM team, incident response team, when we have a customer where when the incident happens in their organization, the first thing the incident responder is asking is which assets are involved in it, what processes are running on it, who owns this, is it exposed to the internet, which department has it, what kind of vulnerabilities it has. All of those answers are available in our system, ready for them, and they come and take via API or they launch the workflow, right? So everything is built in with our platform, right? Now, with that said, bring out your phone. Here is the free offer for you to join our cyber risk summit. We are providing a free external attack surface management report for you to just scan the QR code, and we will share the free external attack surface report, where we will do crawling on the internet without doing any pen testing. I repeat, this does not require any credit card, it requires no commitment. We are not launching any intrusive scanning. This is the free level 1 crawling on the internet. Whatever attacker can see in a Google search or through some queries, That's exactly what we are going to find it and share this in a risk report with you, free report for you, colorful, nice PDF to know your risk, right? So please scan. All you have to give is a top level domain name and your email ID. No credit card required, no social security required, no commitment, and we are not launching intrusive scan. Okay. Now, with that said, let me just quickly show you the quick 3-minute demo. Here is the global view of the entire attack surface for an organization, where you can see the total number of the assets, 28,000. Out of that, these are the internet facing. These are the assets that you are not scanning in the Qualys VM. These are the assets where you got end of support software. These are the unauthorized software you have in your organization. This is sort of a true risk of your critical assets, right? And then here is, you see the risk distribution: high, medium, low. Now you see your high risk assets by a business division, right? You see your IT ops, right? You see the applications, you see the geographical distribution. This is just the one snapshot, guys. By the way, we have a 165 dashboard to slice and dice the data the way you like it, the way you want to see it, right? This is yet another view of all of breakdown based on the different category, like computers, networking devices, ICS, and you see all of your cloud instances. Here you see your AWS instances, you see your software publisher, and you can find out your end of life, end of service based on just the cloud footprint. Download the report and assign it to the cloud team. You can just find based on the publisher, right? Based on the device type, right? All those slicing and dicing of the data is supported here. This is yet another view of the risk based prioritization of your entire attack surface, right? Where you see all of your risk based on the business application, right? Instead of looking just into the Windows and the Linux and the Ubuntu server, now you can elevate this game all the way together to the CISO level, VP level, board level, and you can say, look, finance department will have to have a downtime because the critical application requires patching. We need to remediate the vulnerability because this is a critical application, right? Now you are talking business risk, right? It's no longer about fixing 5 Windows server. Now you are talking to the business stakeholder and talking about the business risk, the cyber security, right? You can see the risk assets by environment, production, pre-production, right? You can see by different support group. You can see by business apps. Right now you see yet another risk based prioritization. Look, the goal for us is very simple. We want to provide you as many different lenses for you to view the risk of your organization. You want to see based on the different business unit, different application, different department. All of that is here for you, right? Now here is your just the external attack surface management, right? Now many organizations are looking into the external attack surface separately. Reason being that there is a dedicated team which is taking on the attack surface management program. Now here is a built-in dashboard where you can see all of your organizations and subsidiaries that we discover. You see all of the domains, subdomains, your cloud assets, the assets that are hosted in your CDN, by the way, right? And all of your web applications that are exposed on the internet. You see the breakup by the data and data center hosted, right? So now many organizations says that, oh yeah, it's a CDN hosted assets, though they are under our name, but you are not responsible to fix the security of that, right? So maybe then you can ignore it, right? So now you could slice and dice the data and you can see the risk applying a different lenses, right? You can see, okay, you have acquired a company, let's say for example, but still that is a separate subsidiary and the security team is different, but the global attack surface management team is finding out all those subsidiaries and various M&A. You can share the report for a respective team only for their assets, right? All those are built-in options with us. You see your top vulnerable domains, you see the certificates that are expiring, right? Now here is a yet another lens is just for your external attack surface, right? Which is, you see the risk distribution based on your organization and subsidiaries, and you say low, medium, high, right? Look, nobody wants to fix the 10,000 vulnerability. Everyone wants to look at where is the high risk and break up by the subsidiary, business department, application, and that's what we are enabling you here, so that you can do the provide this data, actionable data, to the right team. If you had a different team for say Total Cloud or Adya, which we acquired, you can assign it to them, right? You can see again based on the data center, you see your various domain that are exposed on the internet, you see the risky ports. Now this is where it becomes very very interesting, right? If you have a risky port open on the internet, that means attacker can use that to log in into your system and then perhaps do some sort of reconnaissance activity and penetrate within your organization, right? Now this is where I have been repeating this from the beginning. When it comes to monitoring the attack surface, the siloed approach of just looking external parts separately, internal parts separately, the cloud separately is not going to scale out as you grow, right? Because when you find something on the internet, the fixing the issue requires you to know the internal assets, right? Find out where the port is. You want to work with the firewall team and close those ports, right? So this is where our holistic approach is helping more than 1,000+ organization who are using our attack surface management solutions, right? With that said, I want to conclude this session by again showing you the QR code in case if you miss scanning it. Again, please do scan, and I repeat, all you need is your top level domain and your organization name, your email ID. We are not going to launch any scan without your permission. This does not require a credit card. All you need to do is scan and provide three detail: top level organization name, your name, and your contact detail. And our expert will reach out to you to discuss the findings that we have. With that said, thank you so much for joining today, and I hope you have been learning and enjoying all the sessions. Please do stay back for session with my boss Shailesh, and he's going to talk about all exciting innovations that we are doing at Qualys. With that said, thank you so much for your time and looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you.